Good morning, everyone. You'll have to forgive my voice. Those of you who knew me during my time at Hendrix know that I was never lacking for a strong voice, but today seems to be a different situation. I'd like to thank the Board of Trustees, my wonderful fellow honorees, staff and students at Hendrix, distinguished faculty, and my family for coming so far to support me in this. My Hendrix Odyssey began much in the same way that yours did, and that is really before I even came to Hendrix. My journey began locally, here in the great state of Arkansas. I started my volunteering and my research and my activism long before college, the Arkansas Peace Center, Salvation Army, and as a community organizer with Acorn. The same challenges of systemic inequities and injustices that I have found, in my work in Cape Town, in Kigali, Casablanca, Budapest, Jerusalem, can be found right here in the great state of Arkansas. It's simply an issue of scale. So the reason I say this is that as this is an award for global awareness, you do not have to travel to the ends of the earth in order to change it. Start where you are. My Hendrix Odyssey began in Conway, where I had the academic freedom to create my own major, because there was no Odyssey program when I was here, although I think its genesis was really in the faculty. I had to combine my own 3 major fields of study. I did international relations, religion, and sociology, which makes me a true child of liberal arts institution, and the freedom to combine these fields and to make the intellectual linkages that I saw. They really weren't standard academic practice at the time, but I was able to do that here because I was able to personalize my education. But that, of course, was contingent upon something that I think Hendrix has as a unique thing, and that is steadfast support from the faculty. I had to have my own committee, and a number of them are here today. Dr. Ian King is not here as he is in London, Dr. Wayne Odekirk, Dr. Stella Chopik, and Dr. Jay McDaniel. Yes, as you should applaud. They really pushed me to my intellectual limits, but they also supported me, and they gave me the space I needed to really do what I wanted to do. They had faith in me. And there really are not enough accolades I can bestow on them for their impact on my life and my work. Even in graduate school, I still found myself coming back to the support that I had here at Hendrix. So to the students, seek them out and honor them during your time here. After Hendrix, my journey took me to many places, to graduate school, Africa, Europe, the Middle East, to research societies in or transitioning from major conflict. So I think my work distilled could really be described in 3 words, which I've carefully chosen, and that is witnessing, researching, and educating. I feel very strongly that serving as a witness for victims of conflict is not only an intellectual but also a moral act. Then I research those stories to lend them credibility and try to educate others by relating my experiences, translating them culturally or literally, to give context to what I've witnessed, because I have been blessed to be welcomed into a number of these cultures and societies that are transitioning from severe violence. Examples of my work would include researching the best practices from truth commissions in Africa, telling the stories of Palestinian refugees, and determining how best to approach religious terrorists in the Middle East and here. I'll spare you the details because that's not why you're here. But what I can tell you is this. My liberal arts education, with its genesis here, prepared me more than anything has to date for my life and for my work. The ability and the passion to think critically, to ask the right questions, to employ intellectual tools across disciplines, these are the legacies of a liberal arts education. And I've had to think about higher education a lot more than I ever really wanted to because of some of my jobs. And one of them in particular, I was working for the Embassy of Kuwait as a senior advisor to their education diplomats. And I was tasked with helping them and their Ministry of Higher Education to think about the future of Kuwait. You know, what do you want for your country? Therefore, how are you going to educate your students? Do you want to keep cranking out petrochemical engineers, or do you want artists and historians as well? And there were some very difficult conversations with their diplomats, some soul-searching conversations. And basically what I told them is, look, if you really want to revolutionize these young people's minds, if you really want to change their lives, you need to send them to a liberal arts institution like Hendrix. And that's really the best testimony that I could give for this school, and why I'm so honored to be accepting this award. Because have no doubt, if an education can change a life, it can change a nation. I've seen it happen. As William James reminds us, act as if what you do makes a difference, because it does. Thank you very much for your time.